You know, guys, these ANC cadres are hopeless, man. I don't want to lie. And every day, I'm asking myself, why did South Africans continue to vote for these people? Despite the ANC demonstrating clearly to South Africans that they are not interested in governing this country. I don't understand this blind loyalty that black people actually have towards the ANC. The very same ANC that is turning their lives upside down. I mean, every time I listen to these comrades speak, I just wonder, man, do these people actually listen to themselves? Do these people actually go through what they are going to say to the media with their teams and actually come to a consensus that it makes sense to go out and say this to the public? I don't understand why these people say some of the things that they say. This is the very same criticism that I heard for Ramaphosa when he made that terrible speech about why do the hospitals run out of medication. The president is asking us that while knowing that they have opened the borders in this country and we have so many illegal foreigners in this country that they are catering for. He stood there and asked the South Africans stupid questions. And I came to this platform and I said, guys, are you telling me that the president actually has a team that went through the speech and said, Mr. President, it makes sense, go out and say this? I don't understand these people. Panyaza Lesufi telling South Africans that they are so affected by the issue of water in Gauteng that they are subjected to taking the showers at the hotel while people are struggling. The residents of Gauteng were fuming in the streets because they hadn't had water for the past couple of weeks. There comes the premier to tell them that, yeah, we are taking the showers at the hotel. It shows you how much this issue actually affects us. And nobody, absolutely nobody, said, Mr. Premier, you cannot say this to the people. It's going to generate so much backlash. You cannot say this. Panyaza Lesufi went out and said it anyway. So now we are dealing with the MEC of education there in Gauteng. So the MEC of education in Gauteng wants the taxpayers of this country to cough out 35 billion rands to build 200 new schools. And for what? To accommodate the illegal foreigners, to accommodate the children of the illegal foreigners. Because we know for a fact that the reason why there's overcrowding in schools today is because these people have collapsed our borders and allowed millions and millions of illegal foreigners and their children to come into the country. Their president passed a bill that says that the children of the illegal foreigners can be placed in schools without providing any documentation. Of course, it was only a matter of time before we deal with the issue of overcrowding, because these people are listening to the ANC government telling them that they can come into the country, they can place their children into our schools, and they don't need to provide any documentation. So these people, instead of just acknowledging that we have made a terrible mistake by that bill, the ANC collapsing the borders in this country was a terrible thing to actually do. They are saying that no, South Africans must pay more so that we can accommodate the illegal foreigners and their children into our society. Guys, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? You know, this thing, it actually reminds me of what the Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, once said about new hospitals. Aaron Motsoaledi once went to SABC speaking about the government needing to build 6 new public hospitals to deal with the issue of overcrowding and so on and so on. And I came to this platform and I said, what is wrong with these people? Because we already have so many public hospitals in this country, and many of those public hospitals, they are understaffed, they are under-resourced, it is a mayhem. And the government, instead of taking the money and putting this money into the public hospitals that we already have, making sure that they are functional, they are saying that no, we need to build 6 new hospitals to deal with the issue of overcrowding. So what the ANC is basically telling us at this point is that they are refusing to deal with the issue of the illegal foreigners. They are willing to even force the South African taxpayers to pay more so that we can accommodate the illegal foreigners into our society. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why is it so hard for these people to say that, but guys, this position that we had towards these so-called African migrants was actually wrong. We need to listen to the people of this country and start a movement to flush out these people out of our country, because this is what we need. If we didn't have so many illegal foreigners in this country, there wouldn't be a need for the MEC of Education in Gauteng to speak about building 200 new hospitals. There wouldn't be a need for that. If we didn't have so many illegal foreigners in this country, there wouldn't be a need for the Minister of Health to speak about building 6 new public hospitals to accommodate overcrowding and so on and so on. But the ANC have made it their mandate to accommodate these people at the expense of South African taxpayers. And I find that outrageous. I don't want to lie. I find it completely outrageous. I watched this clip yesterday. Man, I felt like waking up and doing the video in the middle of the night because I was so furious that what do you mean? Talking about building 200 new schools. You can build 500,000 new schools. It is never going to be enough. Why is it so hard for these people to actually understand that many of these people that are coming from outside, they are nothing but a bunch of parasites. They are here to suck our blood dry. So you can build as many public hospitals, as many public schools as you want. It is never going to be enough, because the more schools that you build, the more you invite these people to come into the country. But no, not according to the MEC of Education in Gauteng. So the MEC of Education in Gauteng, he thinks that we can deal with this issue of overcrowding by building more schools. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. They need 35 billion rands. And guys, I'm sorry, man, like the audio of this clip is a bit down. So I hope that you're gonna hear what this guy is gonna say, because the audio is a bit down.
We need 85 billion rands, and our budget currently is 70 billion rands. 52 billion of that money goes to salaries of educators. 8 billion of that money goes to schools directly. That's one of the things that causes problems in the schools. There's tenders there and there's programs. And I spoke about this when I dealt with the state of education. So already I have given you the outline of our budget, and we need 85 billion. So what we need to do is to think outside the box and say, how do we deal with these pressures? So we're looking at triple Ps. Triple Ps, because if we get people who say we'll build 100 schools for you now, let's say in the next 2 years, because it takes about 12 to 18 months, I think, to build a school. And they say, we build these schools for you and you will pay us later over a longer period. That's what we're looking at, because as we have had in our numbers, we can only build about 7 schools with the budget that we have.
So now they want the private sector to build 100 schools, and they will owe the private sector for building 100 schools for them. They say that they have the budget of 70 billion rands. 52 billion rands of that budget, it goes into salaries. 52 billion. Only 8 billion goes to schools. 52 billion of that budget, it goes into salaries. So he says that, no, we need to think outside of the box so that we can deal with the issue of this pressure. You don't necessarily need to think outside of the box. The solution is there. You guys must just enforce our immigration rules. Just enforce our immigration laws. Then, bang, you have dealt with the situation. You have dealt with the situation. You don't need to go out and make debts on behalf of South African taxpayers, because at the end of the day, South African taxpayers are the ones that will have to pay all of these debts that you guys are going around and make. You don't need to sit there. It is not a rocket science. I cannot believe that, man, we as average South Africans, we are here with solutions when these people that are occupying some of the strategic positions in this country, they cannot even think. They cannot even think. Why is it so hard? Like, like there's something that I do not understand. Can somebody please clarify to me? Why is it so hard for these people to actually enforce our immigration laws? Why is it so hard for these people to say that it is unfair what is happening to South Africa? It is unfair what is happening to South African taxpayers. We know that we are dealing with a situation where such a small number of people in this country are the ones that are paying tax, and a huge number of people in this country, they are benefiting from what this small portion is actually paying. It means that South African taxpayers, they are overtaxed. They are overtaxed. And he says that now we need to think outside of the box so that we can deal with this issue of pressure. So he thinks, like he honestly thinks, just like his friend, Aaron Mutwaledi, they think that if they build more, it will actually help with the situation that we are facing right now. I'm sorry, guys, but are these people idiots or what? They think that if we build more, it is going to help with the situation. The only way you can help the situation right now in this country is to flush out the illegal foreigners in this country. Flush out the illegal foreigners in this country. Then President Ramaphosa, you were asking why are the clinics and the hospitals running out of medication? Flush out the illegal foreigners. Then you will see that the clinics and the public hospitals, they will never run out of medication. If you flush out the illegal foreigners in this country, you will see that there is no need for new public hospitals. We have a lot of public hospitals in this country. We have a lot of public schools in this country. We have a lot of them. But you guys simply do not want to admit that your policy is garbage. You don't want to admit, especially when it comes to education, that this Bella bill, it is garbage. I mean, guys, you remember what happened in January? People were going outside. People were protesting. South African parents were protesting that no, this inept government is telling us that we must find placement for our children in these websites. But these websites, they keep on crashing. We cannot even upload the documents on these systems because they keep on crashing. And guess what was happening on the other side? These people were admitting the children of the illegal foreigners into these schools. So now South African parents, they had to go out and literally protest for their children to find placement in schools. They literally had to protest. These people, man, they are so adamant on treating South Africans like second-class citizens in their own country. They are treating South Africans like second-class citizens in their own country. Which is sad, man. Which is sad. I cannot believe this, man. I cannot believe this, guys. I'm not laughing, man. But I honestly cannot believe some of the things that are happening in this country. The quality of the politicians that we have in this country. The way, it's almost as if people are drinking something, man, when they get there in government. It's all I don't know, what is it that you guys are drinking there? Is there a green Kool-Aid that you guys are drinking there? Because most of you guys are literally refusing to use your brains. You are refusing. You don't want to. You don't want to. It's either you are doing it deliberately or you are honestly stupid. But you have to choose. You have to choose. So, guys, what are your thoughts about the MEC of Education in Gauteng wanting South African taxpayers to pay 35 billion rands so that they can build 200 new schools to accommodate the children of the illegal foreigners? What are your thoughts? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button at the most important part. My name is Thomas Mabao, so I'll see you next time. Do it.